Welcome to the Ken Harbaugh Show. Here's part two of my conversation with Michael Wolff, who has written 4 books about Donald Trump and is one of the few people who has been deep inside Trump's inner circle and emerged with his character intact. I think we all have a sense of just how weird and salacious Trump's universe is, but Michael lets us see it up close through his eyes, and some of what he describes almost defies belief. I want to be clear. This isn't just voyeurism or sideshow fascination. It's important because we need to convey just how unlike normal Americans Donald Trump is. The way he's been able to cast himself as an everyman, as a champion of the little guy, it's crazy. We need to blow that myth apart. Donald Trump has almost nothing in common with the people who idolize him, as Michael Wolff knows better than anyone. The other incredibly bizarre thing about Donald Trump and the people in his orbit is just how demeaning he is towards those closest to him. And you witnessed this up close. You heard about it again and again and again. And it's not as if this is performative. This is how he behaves all the time. It's not just a show. It's how he treats the people in his life.
Yeah, there is very little filter between what Donald Trump thinks and what Donald Trump says. And one of the places that you see him most raw, I suppose, is with his lawyers, and he has this very complicated, mixed relationship with these people, and this sort of goes back to his Roy Cohn, and it goes back to all the years he spent in litigation, and goes back to his this fundamental belief that he knows better than everyone else, and especially in this legal realm where lawyers would otherwise say, we have to be cautious, we have to proceed, we have to thread this needle very carefully. And in which he sort of blows that up. And one of the ways he does this is that he screams at his lawyers. I mean, belittles them, mocks them. I don't know how. I'm really thinking this through, putting myself in their shoes, how you could tolerate this if you were. I mean, a lot of these lawyers are, they're professionals. They're in their mid-career professionals. They've been doing this for a long time. They're all. I mean, I would not say any of them are the A lawyers, but he has some B minus, C plus lawyers, and he just treats them like dirt. Now, I will say that these same people he has treated like dirt, dismissing, belittling, mocking, insulting. These are the people who now run his Justice Department.
Well, is that part of the answer, or do you have a deeper psychological theory for why they subject themselves to it? Is it just to be close to power, or is it kind of the J.D. Vance attraction to abuse? I mean, folks have talked about, Vance's background and the cycle of abuse, and you see so much of that in the people in Trump's orbit.
Yeah, it's very hard to figure out. I mean, and just on the most empirical basis, if you just go through the people who came into the first White House and where all those people are now, you would say that no one gets out alive. 100% of those people ended up disgraced, humiliated, fired, indicted. So why would you do this? So I can't really explain that, except that I think everybody feels well, it will be different for me. And I also think that there is this cycle you get into when you get into the Donald Trump orbit, and it's kind of sadomasochistic. I mean, he's he's demeaning you and beating you, and yet holding out always the possibility that great things are going to happen for you. So if you just suddenly, I mean, he becomes the sun god. He is the reality, and that's the reality that you have to live with, and you adapt to it because he kind of shuts out every other reality.
It really is classic cycle of abuse stuff. I'm wondering if you have an opinion on Elon Musk and whether he will prove the exception, given just how exceptional he is as an addition to the Trump team.
Yeah, I know. I mean, since I know of no exceptions, I might make a slight exception for family members, but Elon is clearly not a family member. And I mean, I think that the best measure on Elon is, I mean, Elon now occupies the Steve Bannon role of the first administration. I mean, they're both on the cover of Time magazine as the real president or the president's brain or something like that. They're the kind of official disruptors. They're the guys with the ideas. And Bannon lasted 6 months. I'd say that's a pretty good measure for how long Elon will go.
But even Steve Bannon did not hold court in the Oval Office while Trump was sitting down. I mean, that's an extraordinary scene.
Extraordinary,
to see
yes.
Elon Musk, or even at the cabinet meetings, running the government for all intents and purposes. That feels different.
It does. And I mean, I would say the advantage to Trump is that Elon is now getting blamed for everything. So he's useful to Trump in that way. But Trump has also gotten himself into a bit of a pickle with Elon, because the media, seeing how this has gone with everyone else, is basically saying, well, this is going to end in tears for somebody. They're going to break up. So therefore, Elon is protected by that, because if the media is saying that's going to happen, Trump can't do it. So Trump has to figure out a way out of this. But he is certainly not going to accept a co-presidency or even someone to share the limelight. And I think that he finds Elon personally confounding, if not irritating. The thing with the kid in the office, I think he was actually personally repelled by. So I don't see this that there's a long-term future here for Elon.
Hey, it's Ken Harbaugh. Check out the new trailer for Valor Media Network. Together, we can take on Joe Rogan and his Manosphere Bros and win. Click the link below to subscribe to Valor Media Network and share it with a friend. Thanks, Midas Mighty. We got this.
There's not enough men like me who do whatever they want.
Are you sick of it yet?
Those people need to be, when we take power, they need to be given the death penalty.
The anger.
Charlie. I live like a capitalist every single day, Cenk. I live as a capitalist.
The hate.
And we have a system of checks and balances. That's a good one. That's really funny. We do?
The idea that to be a man, you have to be a bully.
Fuck you!
We should be better than this.
Females don't have independent thought. They don't come up with anything.
Our kids deserve better than this.
It's like women want equal rights when it's convenient, but then they still want the door open for them.
So help us change it. Subscribe to Valor Media Network, where you can find shows on sports, men's health, and patriotism without the resentment and division.
True strength is about discipline, resilience, and service.
If you've wondered where all the positive role models are, especially for young men, check out Navy SEAL Dan Barkov and Commander Bobby Jones as they share stories of service and sacrifice.
Being good at being a man is about what you do for others and not what you do for yourself.
Listen to Jason Kander and co-hosts Ravi Gupta and Adisu Demisi give you the inside track on the politics of sports.
I just want to take back what I said about the Bills. No, because in all honesty, your team seems to have gotten the vaccination thing right. Okay. My team seems to be struggling with it.
These shows and many more from Valor Media Network prove that you don't have to be an asshole to connect with young men today. Subscribe to Valor Media Network today. Last question, because it's the most striking scene in the book. Can you describe for us the pageantry that surrounds Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago taking his seat and being served, surrounded by the court and the jesters?
It's extraordinary, and I know this not only from the reports of everyone on the patio, but after my second book, I got, and when I had begun my third book, and one of the people around him had told Trump that I was working on this new book, and then Trump said, "Oh, that guy gets ratings. Let's see him." And then I got invited to dinner with Trump and Melania at Mar-a-Lago. So I saw this kind of incredible thing. It's like a wedding every night. He comes out. I mean, he waits until the until the patio is filled. So there's, I don't know, 150 people on the patio or so. And then this goes on every night. And then he pauses, waits at the door, and then he goes out, and then everybody stands up every night.
He's the groom every night.
Big, round of applause. And then he goes to a table which is kind of roped off in the middle. But that's weird too, because it's roped off, but it's not exactly inaccessible. I mean, the point is just to sort of announce that he is there. And then he spends the whole dinner is people coming up to him and him monologizing this kind of running conversation out of his mouth, which then shifts to someone else. And the conversation doesn't begin again. It just goes on, but in someone else's direction. So it's like the head table at the wedding. And when I was there, Melania was there, which is not always the case. Actually, it's seldom the case, but she was there that night. And then she acts that way too. It's a kind of, hello, how are you? Yes. Thank you. And I'm sitting there just trying to get a drink, which I was not successful at getting, but you think, oh, this is I'm among Martians.
Well, thanks so much for chronicling it for all of us, so we don't have to sit through it. Michael, the book is All or Nothing: How Trump Recaptured America. Really appreciated having you on.
Thanks a lot.